Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 140 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. I'm one of your hosts, Stuart Clark, and I'm joined once again by a very clever and smart crew. And they didn't even have to pay me to say that. First of all, who, what, where?
Who are you talking about?
Sorry, they must have left. So instead, we have from the North Shore of Lake Erie, Mr. Jeff Highland. How are you, sir?
I am well, thank you. Yeah, you got me confused with somebody else there.
I know.
Talking about smart people.
What the heck was I thinking? Well, I must have obviously assumed it was Terry Measley from just west of Chicagoland. How are you, Terry?
Good evening, gentlemen.
So, what's new and exciting?
We're cruising on the segues today.
I know. Segues are going well. We have a great interview with our good friends from Wonderfest. It's the Wonderfest preview show. We're recording this on the 13th. It's only 17 days to go, gentlemen. So I know Terry's looking forward to going down. We're looking forward to him carrying the Scale Model Podcast flag.
Yep. Anthony will be down there as well. And we've actually got Anthony doing a demo this year.
Oh my God. We need pictures. Pictures.
After he showed up and got like 7 golds last year, we're like, you're doing a demo.
He's definitely doing a demo. I want pictures. I want pictures come hell or high water. Okay, definitely. All right. So, as always, thanks to our latest Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee supporters, whoever, wherever you are. Also, check our What We Like page for lists of what we like, including the books we talk about. All sorts of news in the hobby industry this week. The breaking one, and there was just a post recently, Comblock sold many of their hobby magazines in their stable, including Fine Scale Modeler, to Firecrown Media. Now, Firecrown Media does a lot of like one-to-one sailing magazines, aircraft magazines, stuff like that. So it should be a good fit. Tim over at Fine Scale Modeler actually just did a post today, kind of, filling some gaps. And so this basically includes model railroader trains, classic toy trains, and astronomy magazines. It did not include Discover or Saturn Lounge magazines. So the good news is the staff are staying on. They're going to have they won't have to move. Their plan is to open a new Firecrown headquarters in Wisconsin for those brands acquired. FSM was purchased as part of the overall package that leaves Comblock with 2 brands it's working to sell. This was a decision by the media board to dissolve the company. It's a closely held entity, not publicly traded, and therefore the board does not have to divulge its reasons for wishing to sell. What does this mean for FSN? It's all a head full for us. We're in the middle of transitioning our workflow to Firecrown, and they are in the midst of onboarding 67 new employees. Plenty of work to do. They're concentrating to produce a quality magazine. We're traveling to shows. They're working on the September-October issue right now and shooting a video a week. They're planning the editorial calendar for 2025. They say, lastly, none of us can predict the future, but we feel good about this next chapter for FSM. FSM is positioned well in the future due in large part to editorial changes that we made over the last few years. For now, it's time to shift into higher gear. And that was from Tim, editor of Scale Model Brands, Comblock Media, Firecrown Media. This was announced last week, totally out of left field. It'll be interesting to see. Again, media companies, magazines are in really challenging times, as we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, definitely. It's not kind of a huge surprise. We're kind of getting into a consolidation phase for the industry, I think, and we'll see. You've been seeing. It was interesting. There was a dialogue going on one of the groups. And apparently, one of the biggest factors, price-wise, cost-wise, in running a magazine is the cost of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the cost of high quality paper is going through the roof at the same time as the demand is dropping. In other words, you've got fewer people who are subscribing to magazines, so you've got fewer pages that you're printing. So the paper manufacturers are, on a per unit basis, having to increase the cost of their product, and that reflects directly in the increased costs of running a magazine.
Well, and it's really challenging. In fact, they had a question here. Let me find it here. They were talking about, will we see thicker issues? And they basically said probably not, because it's just, electronics the way it's going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what we see. We're seeing in Europe, a lot of places are going to the are going to, like, you can get them on your iPad. Download them. Yeah. So here's the question. I hope this means going back to a thicker magazine, a monthly schedule, and no more see the website for no more nonsense. This is from a reader here, and then they reply, barring a world in which computers are forever disabled, publishing will continue to be a mix of print and digital. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. However, I will tell you that Aaron and I use a saying around the office: keep print essential. That was Tim writing that. So I think you're still going to see both, but obviously a lot of people want to get their content digitally now. They don't.
I must admit, I kind of, because FineScale did do an experiment for a couple of years there, where they had uh, a digital edition that would come out maybe 4 times a year or something like that.
Yep.
And it would be paired with the paper edition. So it would be on a month when the paper edition wasn't published, you get this digital one. And I kind of liked it, because I would pull it up on my iPad, save it into my books section, and then I could flip through it anytime I wanted, very quickly. Now, part of the problem with it is if you have a big double page layout with a picture of a model, you're only going to get one part and then the other part on your iPad, and it's hard to flip back and forth. But they canceled that. They pulled the digital edition when they went through lowering the number of monthly issues, and kind of disappointed. It made me wonder whether I should continue my subscription, but I decided, for the sake of the industry, I'll continue my subscription.
Well, they've also included sister publications out of Europe and such, like Damaged, and that's a fantastic magazine.
Yep.
If they can do that, if they can bundle for a good price like that, I think it's going to be worthwhile.
Yeah. Damaged
but
is an excellent magazine.
Print magazines are going on. I still get a couple print magazines, but I don't have time to read all of it either.
Yep.
So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know.
It seems to be easier. You can pick and choose, do a search out of your electronic ones. Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see what the future holds for Tim and Aaron and the rest of the staff there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway too, when you're starting to look at a print magazine and you're using your fingers to try to shrink the pages.
Kids do that. There's some kids that actually do that. I remember a couple of years back, someone mentioned, the kids have been brought up with iPads. The first time you give them a paper magazine, they don't know how the hell to deal with it. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. A couple of shows. The Giant Mosan show was in Hungary, the 21st of April. Our good friends of the Modeling News has a massive photo gallery. John Shojak from ScaleDracula.com has literally hundreds of pictures here in this link, so we're not really going to go through it. They say on average 1,300 to 1,500 models are displayed. The Army shows up. They do demos, a lot of armor, but again, just there's so many pictures to go through here. There's no way we'd get them through, but it's worth, get yourself a cup of coffee and go through some of this, because every picture here is absolutely amazing. These builds.
It's just incredible. Definitely highly recommended.
Yeah.
Sit down and watch. Sit down and look.
And just, excellent photo gallery there. So some very, very cool stuff there. So that is Mosan. And then, of course, for a lot of our listeners, the Shizuoka Hobby Show happened on the weekend. So I've got a couple of links here, including day one from a Facebook group from Anne's Hobbies. Ant's Hobbies. So you've got some nice goodies here. Tamiya didn't release anything new. They'd already previously announced stuff, but the booth starts off with that, including a nice Nissan Fairlady 240Z, a street custom edition. The clear Nissan 300. Dragon has some of their stuff. We're going to talk about one of theirs in a minute. Of course, a lot of Macross stuff, which looks very delicious.
Yeah, that is a huge display. That's awesome.
Yeah. The Spitfire Mark V from Border in 135th scale. They have the box art there. And then the next one after that was just this absolutely amazing thing of a mecha, and looks like he's rescuing a young lady. One of our guys in our build night mentioned what it was from. I should have written it down, but just absolutely amazing. And it won a World Figure Painting Championship or something.
It's
So
incredible.
yeah,
Just incredible.
yeah. And then some other stuff from various other manufacturers. Looks like a gold Gundam with a great big gold sword and a gold codpiece, Jeff.
That's
I'm not sure that might be, is that gold 5-star stories maybe?
I don't know, but it's all gold.
that's a big codpiece too.
Yeah. DeLorean.
Jesus.
Some of the wooden models, like of Japanese castles and buildings, those are always kind of neat.
They are neat.
Yeah.
Oh, guns.
That's Gundam.
Guns 1-to-1, yep. And then a lot of others showing the show, stuff like that. Now, the one that really stood out for me was a couple of clicks away. I believe this is a 1-to-144th aircraft carrier of the Enterprise.
That's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple in here. One is a company called Woody Joe.
Yep.
With a whole bunch of architectural models of Asian, yeah, the big castles and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I might just have to.
Yeah. Those are pretty impressive.
They are cool.
Very, very impressive. The other one that I liked further along is
Aoshima has a car in their booth.
Yep. An actual 1-to-1 car because they produced a new kit of it. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's a gorgeous color scheme too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there was a few 1-to-1 cars there.
The other thing that screams out finally in the wild is a shot of the 1/35th scale Dogram.
Yep.
We've been teased that this thing was going to exist. So I guess it is. We'll see if they do any of the other designs in 1/35th scale.
Yep. A couple of nice motorcycles. They also looks like a food exhibit. So someone made a tiger tank out of cookies with a little tiger.
Cranes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the cranes. Yep.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
All sorts of goodies.
It's well worth taking your time to.
Yep. Well, this is why I have a couple of links here.
Yeah.
Because we could be all night looking at this, but just
Oh, no kidding!
Stuff.
You're gonna listen to us just clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click. Oh my God! Look at that.
Okay. Here it is. Tamiya decoration set. So that's how they built the tiger in one of their booths. They've got little gingerbread men and sheep and
yeah. I just came. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's
treads.
like bakery. Are these?
Yeah, I think they're bakery items, I guess.
All right, somebody came up with that at a product design meeting,
and they actually went. Wow, they actually went for it.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, and then the first 2 days are for trade, and then they have club days. So the second link again from Tom Ains, club day number 1 with again we start with this F4 Phantom from VF84. I assume it's the 48th or 32nd one, just super detailed. Every panel open, like
I give up.
I can't. Yeah, like my F15. I'm just throwing that away now. Like yeah.
Just amazing, eh?
I never build stuff open. I just don't. But
yeah, this was apparently at Mosan.
Gorgeous.
Mosan too. I don't know how it got there that quickly, but someone said it was there.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, just an absolutely gorgeous kit.
So these are all club tables, huh?
These are all club display tables.
That's cool. And then club members behind them.
Yep.
So they're planning on doing that at Nationals this year.
That's right.
With
SIGs.
And you're supposed to have somebody there at all times.
Yep. So they got the club members.
Quite a few people for like that's actually really a good sign when you have that kind of attendance from your club.
Well,
It really is.
they don't do a contest at the show. This is strictly display.
I like
You
that.
know, the miniature Viking, some of the little tiny trains that are just are in
Oh,
little
those
tiny
are
hoops.
hilarious.
Yep, on top of like
That's
small jars, and they move.
they go in
You know, in some
circles.
slightly
What is
larger
that, Z
layouts.
scale or something, I
Yeah,
think?
something like that. But it's
They're real
all,
cartoony looking,
yep.
which is awesome.
And
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
got some bigger things.
Oh,
Like,
what the hell is that?
yeah, I know, with
Sorry.
the thing with the giant face and the multiple faces that
Yeah,
looks like it's from a Nightmare Before Christmas movie. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
I
the
love it.
imagination is amazing.
Yeah. And
That's incredible.
then there's one with a chicken carrying a backpack full of weaponry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like that one.
Black Hawk Down. Yeah, just some amazing stuff. Now, here's a teaser, a kick-ass B1.
Yeah.
That's big too.
It looks very big. A Stug with some
It's
of the,
cardboards too.
yeah,
That's just
oh God.
cardboard.
It's a cardboard
Yeah,
model.
I see that in the detail. The next shot shows that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's all made out of
that's
cardboard.
Yeah,
nice.
and then another kit table fully stocked.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, the plane looks like it one of those
See,
pusher planes crashed. But look at the
seen
detail
better
in the
days.
train. Yeah. Wonder if this is the lady that built it.
Yeah, I think so.
World War One
Oh,
tank.
787 egg plane,
Yep.
Dreamliner. Ah,
Oh, this Tara, the CH-54. This one is just stunning.
it was amazing.
This one speaks out. Fully opened up. Bunch of people repairing it. Absolutely gorgeous.
Huge amount of work.
Now, I don't know why there's
Yeah.
a silver prop, but maybe it's because it's extra shiny.
It's very shiny.
Very shiny.
So yeah, again, these are
Yeah.
to see how the club displays work so well.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're not at a tipping point, certainly, but I think we're at an inception point at
Well,
American shows.
exactly. Like look at this one here. They did a Skunkworks display with a bunch of different, you know, SR-71s and derivatives
Hmm.
all on a field somewhere.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, the swordfish, half of it open, half of it not.
So yeah, it's all the
Yeah,
Star Wars stuff and all the
yeah. So just
yeah.
a lot of amazing stuff here for the club displays. Yeah.
It
So
shows that, and also you take a look. The modelers are all young. There a lot of them are really quite young.
younger
So
guys,
Yep.
yeah, it's huge
yeah,
over there.
yeah,
Okay, I did want to point out a couple of things. Bandai had their booth there, and you know how big Bandai is. So Hobby Alley was doing some coverage of this. So again, I wish we had Anthony here sometimes because he knows some of this stuff. But a twin mess, Shizuoka, Japan. Looks like it's a giant cannon, considering the Gundams behind it, wielding it like a giant gun.
yeah. It does look like a giant gun.
And then you've got some other Gundams there from Gundam Breaker 4. I assume that's a new series.
Yep.
High grade
Well,
Gundam.
Bandai has
Yeah.
always a ton of good stuff.
Then they got all the different Pokemon.
Pokemon, Pikachu's. Yep,
Pikachu's.
my grandkids will love that.
Yep. All the different
Ultraman,
stuff.
all the new
Ultraman.
Ultraman stuff
Yep.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, he's really taken off after that Iron Man look, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks a lot more aggressive than the original Ultraman did.
Yeah. And then you got some like giant, looks like a giant flying shark. And then back to the Gundam. Now, the one I thought that Jeff might like is in the Dragon booth. Unfortunately, it's right at the back. So the
Oh,
posting I saw, they had a zoomed in picture.
It's the wrong scale.
I know Dragons announced a 1/400 space shuttle with crawler transporter.
yeah. Back to
Yeah.
that. Some stuff from Kaiju number 8. It's a new series.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I just
Interesting.
thought I'd point that one out to Jeff.
I looked at that. I saw it on the Facebook page when they first started posting up pictures, and I thought that's really cool. And then I saw the scale 1/400. I thought I don't want that. That's tiny. And then reading the comments on it, I can see that this apparently is an old kit
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
pre-built version. And they just turned it into a kit form.
Well, you'll just have to scratch build that 1/72nd scale one you want to do.
Yeah.
That's
You have
exactly
room.
what I'm going to
You
have
have
to do.
you have room in the house, right?
I'd be shocked if there aren't TSL files around there for
Oh, I won't be surprised at all. Okay, so if you have any comments about this, feel free to send us some comments or feedback at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. All right, not a ton of announcements because people were at shows, but I like these two
Yeah.
from Hobby Boss, RMS Olympic and the Nuclear East Wind. So RMS Olympic was Titanic, one of Titanic's sister ships. Um, she
It
had,
lasted longer.
yep, 24 years. But look
Mhm.
at the dazzle camouflage you can
I
do.
love that. I love it.
Yes.
That would be so much fun.
Designed to confuse U-boats on speed and bearing.
And you notice that they painted it correctly with only 3 of the 4 funnels smoking.
I noticed that.
Hmm.
Yes, because the fourth funnel was fake.
Yes, it was for artistic license.
Yeah, 500 parts, 38 centimeters in length, 12 sprues, holds a one-piece part, includes a display stand, and of course some photo etch. So you can kind of
Very
see
nice.
there. Gee, looks like it's got a few more lifeboats than the
A lot
Titanic
more
did.
lifeboats.
You notice that?
Basically, every spare ounce or inch of deck space is covered in
Lifeboats on the
lifeboats.
top deck. No swimming pool there.
I love it. They got a couple of looks like they got a couple of guns on the foredeck too.
Or is that cranes?
I don't know. They kind of look like yeah, I don't know, but
No,
they
it could
kind of look
be
gunny.
cranes. Maybe. And then, of course, a DF-41 ICBM. This is a Chinese ICBM, solid fuel road mobile ICBM for when you want to do end of days on the road.
Yeah, just what you need. It kind of looks like the one that Johnny built for
Yeah,
Heritage
it
Cup.
does. 8 wheels. And
Looks
I
small. Is this 72nd?
72nd scale,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So basically one color scheme. That's all you need. It does come with masks, and you can build it, hoisting the missile or not. So yeah, this looks quite good. They have a
Mm-hmm.
unpainted version built up, and you know, I
I got
suppose
to
you can
tell
use
you,
that in your war game.
I got to tell you that I would start throwing this against the wall just looking at the number of wheels I'd have to build.
I know, eh? A lot of
But they're
masks.
vinyl, so you can just snap them on.
Yeah, masking
16
won't be a pain in
wheels.
the ass. The masking won't be a pain in the ass. So,
Ugh.
all right. And then from our good friends at Mini Arts, their May announcements. They've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So let's start down a little bit. They've got the 7.5 centimeter anti-tank gun, the Pack 40 with some crew, the mid-production, the German 3-ton cargo truck, a U.S. tank chassis repair crew. Good for your Stewart tank.
Looks like they're performing some percussive maintenance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
With a sledgehammer and yep.
Crowbar.
And then the lathe we talked about before, it's been released.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
generator, a P95 with fuel tanks.
Ooh,
A radio truck, K51 radio truck with a trailer.
that's
And
kind of fun.
this one Terry will find interesting. A P47D 28RE Thunderbolt in Free French Air Force markings.
In free French markings. Yep.
Yep. And then a Marston
I did a Junkers 88 in the wild free French
You did?
markings.
Cool.
Oh, geez. How long? 20 years ago?
That's cool. You still have it?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Let's
mean,
take a picture of it.
the tail wheel's falling off.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know,
I'd
have to
Yeah.
dig it out of the case.
Oh, okay. Never mind
It's
then.
way in the back. I
Way
can
in the
maybe
back.
get my phone back in there and take a
Yeah.
picture.
So that's Free French. And then they've got the Marston landing mat for 1/48th. So for the rough airstrips, you can put your P40 or your P47 on. So that's
nice.
what's coming up from Mini Art. Moving on, the Models VIT catalog out of the Ukraine. They're still going strong, they say. So many projects have been postponed to 25 due to Russian aggression. No matter what, we're still in the business and no intention to give up. Unfortunately, these don't zoom up well, but looks like there is some new releases. They've got
Oh,
some
it
bigger
does.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Click
a
on
little
it. It
bit.
zooms in.
Yeah, a little bit. I see they have the Antonov 225 with the Mira shuttle,
Mm.
a 2-in-1
But
kit,
look at the
72nd.
scale. Look at
72nd.
the scale.
That's
72nd
oof.
scale.
That's a good
could-
size for you, Jeff.
You could
Good
fly
size.
that to work. I
There
mean,
you
for
go.
crying, that's huge.
There you go. Well, and then they've got the 224. Look at this. You were complaining about scale before. Now they give you some big scales, and you're complaining.
Yeah, no kidding. And now, frankly, there's that mirror and the Antonov. I'd take that for sure. That's going to be a very expensive kit.
Well, they have a whole series of BE-12 amphibious patrol craft too.
Yep.
I know. Very nice.
Those are nice.
Ooh, I don't remember how to pronounce it, but it's that the weird one that's oh, there's it's the second row down, last one on the right. What is that called? It's an air
First page?
Yeah, first
Oh,
page.
is it like an acronoplane? Amphibious aeroplane. It says amphibious.
Yeah, that one that's a pretty amazing one. There's only one built, I think, and it's still in the museum in just outside of Moscow.
VVA 14.
Very cool.
Engine.
Yeah, very cool.
Type. Yeah, they have a lot of. If you're a 72nd scale, man,
they got a ton of stuff.
They have so many wild things.
Yeah. Mirage, the French, the Mirage 3, they did in the VTOL. They experimented with that.
They do have some pretty interesting planes.
The M17 Stratosphera, high altitude interceptor. And if we go to the next page,
I can't get in close enough on these.
If you just click on the zoom
something
little,
I might have to
oh,
get.
I did. There it goes. That one.
Yeah, you can go up quite a bit. They've got the BE-12P firefighting aircraft, the BE-12P the flying boat, a lot of MiGs.
There's a high altitude research aircraft here.
Yep. How about the VVA-14 with inflatable pontoons?
Yes.
Jet powered with inflatable pontoons.
That's the same one Jeff was talking about.
Just don't hit a branch in the water because you don't want the pontoon deflating. That would be sad.
Yeah, the VVA-14 experimental. I think that was by Beriev. It's another, but it's got a very unique name. Anyway, I'll remember it as soon as we stop recording, of course.
That's all right.
Yeah, and we've talked about in the 48th scale, switching over there, is a bunch of these American experimental aircraft from World War II.
Yeah.
And some of them are pushed back to 2025. Like they're actually going to do a Swoos Goose and a Ascender, a Curtiss Ascender. Now, some of these have been done in 48 before.
A Dornier 31, the VTOL transporter on the first page. Bunch of Russian stuff. Yep. The Ascender, as you said.
I don't think I've ever seen the Swoos Goose. That's a new one on me. XP-54. Neat. Interesting.
Yeah,
the
Twin
Ascender,
Mustang.
Yeah, I know that one.
I do have the F-82. I have one of those kits, the black one there. It's supposed to be pretty nice.
Pretty. 344 pieces. That's a good size.
Oh, no, it's not a small plane. It's not just two Mustangs.
No.
They're bigger.
So a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff coming there. And again, remember they're in a country that's at war right now. So,
well, yeah, and so you give them a lot of slack, that's for sure. But
that's definitely.
Holy
there's a couple of these, even though they're not my preferred scale. I think I'll probably wind up getting.
Here we go. Terry's making a list and checking it
twice. Well, that M17 high altitude interceptor, and then one of them's built out as a research aircraft.
Right.
That I find very compelling. Very the research aircraft version of it.
I'm a big fan of research aircraft myself. So
I like them because you can do so many different things with them.
Yeah, and they mostly only killed the pilots.
Yeah, mostly. All right. So there's some stuff there. Terry's made a list.
This is bad.
Jeff's wallet and Terry's wallet are going to be lighter in the next 2 years.
Hasegawa. What's Hasegawa got to show for us?
Hasegawa. They have. Oh, I missed Hasegawa. How could I do that? I was
trying to be very unusually.
I know, that's all right. No, I fully admit it. So this is their new items on the English site. So they got a Celica, a crane, a couple of Mechrato Wigo Votams, little robots. How about a vending machine or a 10 yen game baseball, a baseball game machine?
Unbelievable.
112.
They have a whole series of those, like vending machines and such.
They do in that scale, in the GI Joe scale or the Barbie scale, as we call it.
That Isuzu bullet, I kind of like.
Yeah, there's something a little bit off about that one,
It looks something that the Russians would have made.
When I
But
first
those,
looked at it, I thought it was a Datsun 510, but no, it's too round.
it kind of looks like that early Subaru, doesn't it?
1969. 1969. There you go.
Yeah, that looks
Um,
about 1969.
and all of those they call them the project series,
Yep.
working machines series. Those
Yeah.
are all cool. I gotta just do one. I have one, a rice combine, but these cranes and these deconstruction machines are
Right.
always a lot of fun.
They had one. I don't know which one it was, but it's the picture they have on the first page
Yeah,
with the one with the two arms.
yes.
I saw that at one of the hobby shops in Winnipeg, and I put it in my wish list basket. And ever since then, that was about 3 years ago, I keep getting emails. Oh, it's on sale now. You might want to buy it now.
Go for it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
No, I am trying very hard to start building things, and I'm getting there. So once I build a few more, then I will feel entitled to buy new.
All right. All right. We'll forgive you. Okay, moving on with some singles. Kinetic is releasing soon a two-seat F-16D from the Thunderbirds display team.
Always nice.
Yep, nice to see a two-seater in that scale.
Yeah, it's got the nice white, red, and blue scheme with all the flags on it, and I like
Yep,
that.
very
Very
nice.
nice.
Very nice indeed. And then we have some more details about the Magic Factory Skyhawk, the A4M. This time it's the cockpit pictures. Now, just look at this. This is what comes with the kit, gentlemen.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you need much aftermarket there.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
I
don't
know.
know.
There'll be, there will be, but
You probably need to scrape all that stuff off and slap some Quinta.
well, I'm wondering about the seat belts. That would be the one thing I'd think, because sometimes they have built-in molded-in seat belts. So we'll have to see. We don't really have a good
I
view there.
can't tell if those are
Yeah,
or if those are. No,
tough to
they don't
tell.
look like it, do they?
No,
They
tough to
look like
tell.
they're like 3D
Yeah,
3D
I'm
decals,
hoping.
sort
I'm
of.
hoping they are.
Yeah, because it looks like, frankly, they haven't painted anything else. So why would they paint
Yeah,
just the seat belts? I
yeah,
think it's a
Yeah.
separate
yeah,
part.
exactly. But that's going to be a night. The Skyhawk is. I've got one I built in a fictional RCAF scheme at 48 scale. It's a nice size.
hmm
You definitely for a modern jet, you could definitely fit that into a display case. Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
yep, very, very nice.
Very.
So that's going to be good. I know a lot of Skyhawk fans are looking forward to that. Speaking of the Tarawa, we looked at that amazing diorama. You can now get one with a universal military pod. So, or as I call it, the military RV or shipping container with
Yeah, it looks
windows.
like a giant shipping container.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. It can carry infantry, wounded equipment. Pod has windows, doors, and a ramp. So you could, load up with artillery, etc. Total of 22 pods were built. So
Huh.
that is a big
That's
kit.
I know that one kind of is intimidating.
It is. It is.
I
Very
look
cool.
forward to seeing it at shows, though. I really
Yep.
do.
Yeah, well, there was one. I think I saw some pictures on one of the Facebook pages that some guy did up in a beautiful orange scheme. Just a gorgeous job.
hmm
Well, yeah, I mean, they were used as in civilian as well. And
Right.
One topped off the CN
yeah.
Tower. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from Mulberry Scale Kits, this is the Henschel HS293A1. It was one of the first radio control guided bombs or missiles, basically. It
hmm
was from World War II. So they're making it available in the three scales, 32, 48, and 70 seconds. So if you're working on a Henkel or something or a German bomber in that scale, and you want to do something over the Med, this actually sunk one or two Italian vessels. After Italy switched, Germany decided, well, we don't like you anymore, so let's send you one of these.
I've been reading a book about aircraft like aerial photography in the Second World War,
hmm
and the raid on Taranto, and my reading of this is that sinking Italian ships wasn't that hard.
Well, you just, and well, again, you got to consider they were flying, World War II, mid-war era biplanes, Swordfish.
Exactly.
and against a lot of flack in that. There's a good YouTube video that has a whole fully animated, like showing which aircraft went where, and a whole view of the harbor, and that it's quite fascinating. If you're reading the book, Jeff, you might appreciate that.
I
Uh,
will. I'll have to take a look at
yeah,
that.
you'll have to take a look. So that's kind of cool. Okay, what's new at ScaleMates on as of May 13th? An interstate TDR-1. I have never heard of this.
No, looks like a drone.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
I think it's a drone.
Yeah, I have never heard of it.
Well, it's got no place, no space for a human, so it definitely
Yeah.
is a drone.
Okay. And then what else do we need? But life is now complete. You can now get a White Castle original slider from Moss Isley Model Works in 1-to-1 scale. If we can't get them up here in Canada, at least you can build a model of one. Comes with
There
the
you go.
onions and the diced onions and the pickles. You can put that beside your, bowl of noodles in 1-to-1 scale.
Right up there on my list of things I never thought I'd see in a plastic bottle.
Okay, then we got Plus Models. They've got a bunch of stuff in both 35th and 32nd scale. Some missiles, Browning 50 machine gun, a bomb trailer, various scales. Belfine. Someone's made a model of the Dark Star, 1/100th and
Yes.
1/72nd from
Yep.
Top Gun Maverick. I know the flight simulator people, there's been models made for that already, digital models, but that is nice. See,
Yep.
couldn't you see the RCAF owning one of those? Just they have one sitting up on high, and if the bad guys try and come over the border from
Yeah,
from from the north, ruins your day.
yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that our government would spend money on for sure.
Yeah. Well, if we still had the talent, in my alternate RCAF world, we do because Avro's still around,
Oh, of
and we
course.
poached a bunch of the Americans. So that's the way we did it. All
We're
right,
gonna
what
see a
else?
few of these. We're gonna see a few of these on the tables.
Yep. What else? An XP-72 experimental fighter interceptor from ANA Models.
Full kit.
Yeah, 148th. 2025 it released. That's on May the
Interesting.
10th. Yep. May 9th, a lot of armor.
A lot of armor.
Last
Well, we can
72nd
just
scale
skip
armor.
past
Yep.
that.
Good for your gaming stuff. Oh, including the Lorraine 10.5 centimeter assault gun. The Germans captured these and used these.
That is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
I like.
looks very top heavy, but I'm assuming that little thing there's an anchor to keep it from flipping over when it fires.
Any French tanks are just unusual and interesting no matter what. So
Yeah,
that's not bad.
exactly. But all gaming scale, bunch of stuff there on that day.
Oh wow. 1S91 CERN SA6 radar
Where's that?
in 172nd. It's just a bit further down
Must be
by
down May 8th.
Panzerfuck's military kits.
Where the heck did you go?
It's May 9th, just above the Avenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just above the Avenger. And it's Panzer FUX for the listeners.
Yeah.
Let's be clear on that.
Why not? Why not, right?
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly. A lot of these 172nd scale
Yeah,
tanks.
very
There's tons of
popular.
them.
Yeah, a lot of resin stuff. The Abrams X, the next generation of the Abrams, an IDF dozer. Again, the wargaming. I know Cam, who does a lot of wargaming in this scale. He'll like some of these. The T93 E3 from Cromwell Models, 1946. And then here we go. Here's some Gundam stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Evangelion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Winged Dragon of Ra.
And Kyoto.
The Winged Dragon of Ra looks very cool.
Interesting.
He looks pissed, I'm just saying, but he looks very cool.
It's the winged dragon of Ra. It's not somebody guy who sits there smoking a pipe and relaxing.
Well, not very often, I think.
No.
He's a busy kind of guy.
Exactly.
taking souls to the afterlife and whatever.
Yeah.
What else we got here? We got townhouses in 172nd from a company called Fisherman and a fortress camp. And how about this from Moss Isley again, Jeff, the Peacekeeper missile. You too can have the US's way of ending the world in 148 scale.
Yeah, and calling it a peacekeeper, even better.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess arguably mutually assured destruction did
Yep.
seem to work for a while.
Yep, it did. And then you've got on the 5th some egg models, the Focke-Wulf 190 and the Mustang from Tiger Models.
And a T-111 experimental Soviet medium tank.
Yep. You can
Some
get
interesting
anything now.
stuff.
You can get anything now.
No kidding.
It's
No
just
kidding.
absolutely amazing what you can get now.
There you go. May 2nd. First item. Mini lift diorama.
You two can, for your Eagle kit.
For your Space 1999 1/144th Eagle, a lift
There you
diorama.
go. Yeah, that looks
From
good.
Warp. Warp is still doing stuff.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
A lot of artillery on that day on May 2nd.
Yeah, it looks
French.
like some World War One stuff
Yep,
or
yep,
early
French
between
artillery.
the war stuff.
Yep.
Unusual stuff. That's what's interesting about it.
Yep.
Does not look like fun though. Ooh, just angry.
What else here? We got a PC-99C aircraft in Cyprus service on May 1st. Then we've got the Chevrolet. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, keep going because I can see we're starting to overlap with the last show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just getting there now. So, but there we go. But yeah, so as always, lots of cool things. Lots of cool things.
And we're coming into summer, so it's kind of like slow season too, which is interesting.
There's no slow season anymore.
There isn't. Yeah, exactly. It's funny. I've been reading all these old magazines from the 70s and the 80s, and the editorials are. I'm finding the editorials more fun than most of the articles, just because so everything old is new again. They're complaining about kit prices. They're complaining about accessibility and hobby stores, and the hobby is dying, and everybody's bitching at the IPMS contest.
And it's it's probably the same guys. They just have computers now and Facebook.
It's just so funny.
They just become older and crankier. So, was that my outside voice? I'm sorry. Sorry, what was my outside voice? Okay. Well, someone who's definitely not cranky and is going to be at Wonderfest this year, our good buddy Steve, one of the primary sponsors.
He's busy.
He's busy. He's always busy. This man is always busy, but I see him and his lovely wife got a chance to get away for their anniversary, so that was good. So he's a smart man. He's well trained. So let's see what amazing things are at Cult TV Man this week. Lots of new items at culttvmanshop.com, either already in the shop or available for pre-order. Let's take a look and see what's here. A couple of vintage dinosaurs from Polar Lights, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the original from Polar Lights 2000, and they also have an open box kit of the Pterodon original from Polar Lights, an open box kit. They've also got a B-58 Hustler, the 193 box scale, the reissue from Atlantis, as well as a brand new John Wick's 1970 Chevy Chevelle from the movie, of course, from 125th scale from AMT Round 2, and a whole bunch of other things. Bride of Khan resin kit, Memento partially assembled in stock. It's now available for you to purchase. The Ultraman vinyl kit from Billican Scratch and Dent, and the vintage monster of Piedras Blancas, the resin kit in 1/8. Just in time for what you want to do and get them set up. Also, a couple of Dune exciting news pre-orders. They've got the pre-orders for the Dune Atreides Ornithopter in the big 1/72nd scale. They're still waiting on a price. They estimate between $99 and $110, but you can put your pre-order down now. And also, this is exciting, a Paul Atreides figure, 1/12 scale from Mung. They have both a standard and a deluxe edition. This is going to be a highly realistic recreation of the character Paul Atreides. 2 different replaceable head options with decals. The kit includes 7 hand options and prompts like the Frem kit, Chris knife, pistol, para compass, sand compactor, and thumper. The deluxe edition includes a cape and a awesome looking base. So you can pre-order for those ones now. The standard edition they estimate between 40 and 50, and the deluxe edition between 60 and 75. Don't forget, Cult TV Man's going to be at Wonderfest coming up really soon, and as always, tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right, so perfect interplay with our interview because it is our Wonderfest show. We'll just get right on to the interview with George and Lee from Wonderfest. Here we go. And we're back with the name of the game tonight, which is namely our Wonderfest preview, celebrating 40 years of Gremlins this year. We have two special guests, Terry Measley. I'm going to let you introduce them.
Great. We have returning to the show, George Salidas, who runs the contest, runs the judging anyway, probably the contest as well at this point, and Lee Staton, who is Mr. Wonderfest, does everything. Lee and I worked a little bit on getting some of the demos put together. I help with the vehicle side of things, and Lee puts all the schedules and stuff together, right? I think.
Yeah, I took over, besides marketing, I took over programming.
Okay, great.
So the missing guy, we've got also Dave Hodge, who's the CEO, and Melinda Engstrom, who's the COO, and Kim Doom, who runs the dealer room. We've kind of got a core group of local friends that all work together on this.
Cool. So Lee, so let's just get right to the details. Tell us all about when it is, what it is, all that good stuff.
Where it is,
what it is, who, where, when, where.
Why it is.
Well,
why?
Wonderfest has always been in Louisville, Kentucky. Ever since it started as the Louisville Plastic Kitten Toy Show. And this is our 34th convention, 35th year, because we had the pause year during COVID. And we have the show scheduled usually the weekend after Memorial Day, and this year it's June 1st and 2nd. And technically May 31st is the pre-con workshops day, where we have 4 different outside groups that are doing pre-con workshops. Mm-hmm. But the show proper really kind of starts Friday night with a little entertainment, and then all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
And that's, of course, at the Crown Plaza Hotel.
It is Crown Plaza over by the airport in Louisville.
See, perfect. We can just fly in, fly out. So you're celebrating I can't believe this because now I really feel old, but a lot of anniversaries have been coming up that are making me feel old. 40 years of Gremlins.
Yep.
That's just crazy talk. I can't believe it's been 40 years.
Yeah, now, I mean, you were only what, like 2 years old when it came out?
I must have been. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep going with that. And these guys, were only 10 when they started organizing the first toy and model show, right? That must be it. Yeah, that must be it. So a lot of other stuff going on. So George, let's talk a little bit about the absolutely always stunning and hard to judge model contest.
Okay. Pretty much we have what's called open judging. You're not given places, you're given a gold, silver, a bronze, or a merit for your work. There's a criteria for each. We think that's the best way. It rewards the modeler with the advantage of seeing their progress. Like, for example, when I started, first thing I ever won was a merit. And I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And the comedy for me was I walked in that room thinking I was really good. And I walked in the room and like 30 seconds later, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty typical when I walk into a room. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. One thing an open system really helps in most IPMS or other kind of shows, a third of what you see in Wonderfest would be in miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Because there is no way to categorize a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Now you have to have a pretty good judging team because you had over 1,000 entries last year. So are you expecting a similar amount this year?
Yes, we are. The one thing I've really been pleased about the last 2 or 3 years is we're really starting to get good quality judges stepping up, asking me if they can help me judge.
Awesome.
These are all special award winners. There are multiple gold winners year after year. Sharp eyes, really, really talented. Man, I couldn't be any happier because the only thing they were worried about is they wouldn't help judge if they couldn't just display their pieces.
Right.
As well, that's not a problem.
Mhm.
You know, so they've gotten past the point where they feel the need that they have to win something,
Mm-hmm.
or they
That's
just want to
really-
help.
That's
Yeah.
really good. That's really good.
It's a good place to be. You know,
Right. And most of us, that was my about 4 or 5 years ago. I decided I don't need to compete here anymore. I'd rather spend the time judging and helping out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like George said, last year and this year, I think we're getting even more coming in and a good crew.
Yeah.
And you're also
Yeah.
all electronic this year.
Yes, that's new for this year. We're gonna take a crack at it. We've been running so far we've got over 200 entries. I'm gonna have to make a post to keep needling these folks to keep on doing it electronically. But what I've done this year is the electronics helps. That's going to help us with a number of things. If everybody gets on board early enough, I
Yep.
can plan. If I know what's coming or a good idea, I can plan. The other thing is you don't want to get in trouble and not have enough awards.
Right.
Yeah.
If I know enough, our guy that does all of our awards for us is a great guy. I only need to give him 7 days.
Wow.
Mm.
You know,
That's nice.
if I, if I'm sitting there and, I see, oh my gosh, we're going to have 1,500 pieces coming, and I don't have enough to cover anything. If, there's percentages of gold, silver, and
Right,
bronze every
right.
year. It's really similar every year. I could call him a week before and say, hey, I need 75 more silver, so that's a huge help.
And one of the rarely commented on problems that model contests have is that people's handwriting is atrocious.
Amen.
Mine is, and
mine is.
I'm not throwing stones at others and not myself, but when you have 1,000 entries and it's all hand scrawled
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
pieces of paper, no one can follow it, and then people are mad that we misspell their names when we publish the winners list and things like that. And this electronic entry, we hope, is going to streamline the whole back end part of it, so we can focus on the part that matters the most.
Very cool.
I will mention, because there's a lot of listeners who help run shows and everything, that Saturday during the day, in the entries can be dropped off. Right, it's like 10 o'clock till noon, something, or 9 o'clock till noon. Then it's open. Then the room is closed, and the judging happens when the room is closed.
Yeah. After 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Yes. And then it's open back up on Monday. And when it's also closed, that's when vendors and special guests and such can come in and have a look around while the judging's going on, but in a little bit of peace, because those folks are busy all day.
Well,
exactly. This lets them take their time and have a look around.
Right.
We also open up 1 hour early on Sunday for the vendors. Like the guys in vendor and the dealer room, for the same reason.
Exactly.
The same reason.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. The other thing that we did, other than the electronic end, is it's going to make it easier for the judges, and it's going to make it easier for us, for my wife and for Drew Roberts' wife, to tally these. Super easy. I've asked all my judges to be in the Franklin room an hour early this year, because there's some things we have to go over, and they are not going to believe how easy it's going to be. I've made their job. It's going to be really simple.
Well, we're watching very carefully, because our local club, we're going to be going to open system judging, and we're looking at going as much electronic as possible. So we'll be very curious, and we'll be probably pestering you with questions after the event.
Okay.
So
sure. Yeah.
You go ahead.
I suspect that this year is going to be kind of a tough road to hoe, but we'll be okay. It's just like everything else when it's new.
Yeah, exactly. So you were mentioning vendors and guests. Let's talk a little bit. One thing about Wonderfest is always the amazing guests you guys seem to be able to get in. Do you want to highlight some of the guests you're having this year, one of you?
Sure. Yeah, I'll run with this one. we're really excited this year. We had a consortium of sponsors with, along with Steve Iverson, who was kind of driving it, who's Cult TV Man, for those who don't realize.
Steve is our sponsor. Exactly. I know Steve very well.
He wanted to be able to bring Vanessa Harryhausen from England, and also Connor Heaney. Vanessa is Ray Harryhausen's daughter and the head of his foundation. And Connor is the collections manager, which one of my friends dinged me and said, collections manager, does he hit you up for money? And it's like, no, he manages the collection of all of Ray's creatures and all of the artwork and the artifacts from Ray's life. And they have had them on display in Scotland and in the United States. And we're hoping to get them back into the United States again here real soon. So maybe more on that later, but we've got both of them coming. They'll each be doing a presentation during the show. We had Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins, but Joe got a feature film job working on a project called Little Shop of Halloween Horrors.
I suppose that's allowed. I suppose that's allowed. He can skip you guys for that.
An interesting thing about him real fast is that when he was here back in like 2002, he was working on Looney Tunes Back in Action while he was here. He was working in his room and then would come down and do his appearance. And but this time around, he said the schedule just wouldn't allow him to do that. So before anybody's too disappointed in his not being here, I just keep telling people he's a really honorable guy and has really done right by us.
Yeah.
We've had an amazing number of people come out of the woodwork for additional guests. Besides, we have Belinda Velasquez, who was in most of Joe Dante's films and who was in Gremlins.
Yep.
We have mostly behind the scenes guests. We've got John Eves, who's a Star Trek and Marvel designer. We've got Rick Sternbach, who's a Star Trek designer. We have a couple of surprise guests that kind of came on late in the game. Michael Possert, who worked on a lot of the Leica films and worked on The Rocketeer, has a new book about the making of the Rocketeer helmet and rocket pack that he's premiering at Wonderfest. And he's going to be presenting. And then lastly, I'll mention Roger Christian, who is the art director on the original Star Wars prop master. And he's the man who figured out how to use a Graflex flash unit to make it into a lightsaber handle. Cool. So he won an Oscar for the original first Star Wars movie that everyone calls A New Hope. So he's going to be speaking on Sunday. So the schedule's packed. That's just a little sampling. We always try to bring an interesting mix of people in front of the cameras, behind the scenes, the people who design the stuff that we like to make models of.
Very cool. No, a lot of good guests coming up. You know, as you say, you got that Sternbach character. We've had him on the show. So, you know, I hear sometimes he's a bit of trouble, but you know, he mostly behaves himself.
Well, you want to know trouble. There's going to be a panel with John Eves, Eric Chu, Darren Doctorman, and Rick Sternbach.
Oh, you better have extra security on hand. That's all.
They sound like a law firm.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure there was no vehicles demo at the same time, because that would just be unfair.
Yeah, that would be. So let's talk a little bit about there's also a ton of other programming, that's are going to be there. There's a bunch of how-to demos, right?
Yeah, we have Airbrush 101 that's put on by Iwata and Tag Team, where there are airbrush demos both days that you can sign up for. We have multiple tracks now. I'm laughing because this has just exploded for us, the how-to side of modeling.
Yeah. 4 tracks. I didn't know that you had pulled out the 3D, because we had put those in vehicle tracks, and that freed up more time for vehicle stuff. But yeah, those are nice. The 3D.
You're gonna have to clone yourself, Terry.
Oh no, I've got
Yeah.
a couple volunteers to help me out.
Good stuff.
So I
we
can go
have
to stuff.
vehicles, we have figures, we have 3D, and we have the Airbrush 101. So
It's
if you
going to be
want to learn
hard.
how to build models,
It's going to be hard
Oh.
with 4 tracks. I mean, it's going to be hard to pick. I imagine you're going to have competing interests, and I remember it was tough sometimes to choose which one you want to go to.
and I'm the one who does the Jenga of the weekend schedule. And I try really hard to make sure that, like, if there's a renowned vehicles related person talking, that we try to not have another one in the other room or something,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
try to alternate. But I got to be truthful, this year, there's some little overlaps that are probably going to be frustrating. The good news is the rooms are down the hall from each other. So if somebody wants to see part of one and then run over and see part of another, they probably can.
Right.
Yeah, and the presenters can't take that personally when people are all running out of the room.
No, exactly.
Uh,
And let's talk about, of course, one of my favorite stuff, because I love seeing what comes out of it. Iron Modeler.
Iron Modeler's a hoot.
It is.
George gets to miss out now because he's busy with the contest at that period of time on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to judge a couple of times at Iron Modeler, and what people come up with is just nuts. It's funny, and it's just sort of modeling joy, I think.
Mhm.
A lot of the times it's the stories explaining away what they built.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's really it.
And,
The shameless sucking up to the judges.
well, that too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's describe it. You guys describe it on the website. It's like our Iron Chef, but with models. 8 3-person teams are given a base item. Could be a kit, a random item, a big pile of parts, freebies, and assorted castaway household items, and 4 hours to build the best model with what they got. There'll be a spray booth provided. Now, if I recall, wasn't it about halfway in it, another part is introduced, or a theme or something?
John started doing that a number of years ago. He would introduce a mystery thing now that had to be included.
Okay,
and
that's what I
those
thought.
included things have to be visible. You can't
Yes.
just bury them.
Yes, and I understand John Lester was very, very evil about some of the stuff he came up with. So
Yes.
that's always fun. I always love seeing what comes out of those. And of course, then there, of course, the Rondo Awards, fandom's only classic horror awards. Who needs
And it's
the
interesting,
Emmys?
Several of our guests are winning rondos this year, including Vanessa Harryhausen.
Yeah.
So
Good.
that's going to be fun.
Good. Always fun. Seating starts at 4 in upstairs theater A. And then we've also got the Saturday night in the upstairs theater. Chiller Cinema presents a double feature. We have the 7 p.m. matinee. What do we
Yep.
got? What do we got for
Movie
that?
matinee with John Goodman,
Oh,
who
is it?
is basically playing William Castle slightly disguised as Roger Woolsey, I think is the character's name in the movie. That's a
Right.
Joe Dante film and one of my favorites of his. We have a horror host from Nashville, Larry Underwood, who plays Dr. Gangrene, and he always does a fun time of being a horror host that night. Our own
Dr. Gangrene. I
Sven
love it.
Booley and Belinda Belaski, who is in Matinee, is going to intro the film. And then after Matinee is done, we'll have one of Ray Harryhausen's movies, The Valley of Gwangi. Vanessa Harryhausen is going to introduce that film because that was one of her favorite films of her father's work. And
Awesome.
I told the story in the write-up about her that actually we heard from Ray, not from her, that he and his wife were taking Vanessa around in her stroller as a toddler, and some little old lady came up and said, "Oh, can I see your baby?" And it looked so adorable, and pulled the cover back, and Vanessa was holding Gwangi, the dinosaur, because she liked to play with Ray's model of Gwangi.
I love it.
That's how close she is to Gwangi.
I do remember seeing this film because you mentioned here about the dynamic roping sequence of cowboys trying to subdue an Allosaurus. I do remember that movie now. So that'll be good. That'll be good fun as well. And then of course the 2024 wrap party on Sunday night. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the Wonderfest wrap party, it's Jaws in 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where the fun is seeing them try to cram that movie into 30 minutes or less. And silliness ensues, of course.
Of
They're
course.
trying to do it as a straight reading, but I don't believe this group can do it as a straight reading.
Oh,
No.
Sure not.
If you've seen them, if you know them at all, you know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's going to be fun. And of course, a well-stocked vendor room, where lots of deals will be had. People will be separated from their credit cards in no time at all. There's going to be the Canadian contingent will be coming down again. There's a few nefarious characters coming down, which I'm sure you're well aware of. And we're looking forward to having some coverage there, courtesy of Terry. Terry's going to have some of the Scale Model Podcast challenge coins down there for stuff that he really thinks is just outstanding. You're gonna find some of those on the table. My good buddy Bill from our club and previous winner is going to be bringing those down for him. So, any other last minute things we should mention to our listeners? This goes out. Today's the 13th. This goes out on Saturday.
Well, I have one this year. The main dealer's room used to have a bump out, which is like if you were there last year, it's where we had the Line of the Lost group. And the hotel remodeling took that away.
Oops.
And so now we had our autographing guests in B room. We're now having them in a different room. So A room and B room are dealers and some exhibits, and then the autographing guests will be down the hall. And so people don't flip out. They're just across the hall from the dealer room B in one of the side halls. But we had to spread them out just this once because we'd already pre-sold the spaces, and we were like, oh, now where do we put these folks? So we worked it out, but it does mean things won't always be where people expect them to be from past years.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so once again, that's Wonderfest, June 1st and 2nd at the Louisville, Kentucky Crown Plaza Hotel. You can get more details by going to www.wonderfest.com. Always a good time. It is on my bucket list. I'm sure it's on Jeff's bucket list at some point. Oh, yeah. Terry's going to carry the flag for us, and I apologize for some of the Canadians in advance. I'll just leave it there. That's all we need to say.
We deny that they're Canadians. Simple as that. Unless they're so much fun that you guys can't forget them. So then we'll take them on.
Or in IPMS London. If they say they're with IPMS London, they're lying. I'm sure they are. Right? Exactly. All right, gentlemen. Anything else? I think we've covered it. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again for joining us.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. See you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Good luck with Wonderfest, guys. It's going to be fabulous.
Always is.
Thanks.
Fabulous stuff as always. Exciting. I know, Terry, you're looking forward to it.
Always.
Yeah. And let's see who else. Anthony's going down.
Dave Blappy's going, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yep,
because he was selling a ton of kits trying to fund his trip.
So he is going now, and Bill Webb, of course.
Yep.
So exactly. So it's going to be a good time. The Canadian contingent, and of course, Terry, you're the honorary Canadian. We'll be well represented there. Okay, what's on the bench? I'll start. My CF15, the Hasegawa F15, and fictional RCAF markings is just about done. The gear's on. I got to put a satin coat on. I'm just waiting until club night to pick up some 3D printed nozzles from Ron, one of our 3D printing gurus extraordinaire. The Hasegawa kit has a few questionable things, and I've mentioned that before about assembly. One of the things is the nozzles come in 5 parts. You're supposed to do a circle without a real way of supporting it. And of course, I lost one to the floor monster. So Ron's been nice enough. I found a 3D file online, paid for it only a couple of bucks. It was 1:144, but he's going to scale it up and it's going to look just fine. And when that one's done, I got to think about what's next. Because as you guys know, my wonderful members of my club, and Jeff's included in that, they decided to gift me a 350th Yamato battleship.
Well done.
You
Well
see,
done.
see, I even made sure. Um, Needs some thought. Now, I wasn't planning to go nuts on the aftermarket, but I did decide it needs a wood deck. It needs the deck done right, and it helps with masking, etc. So I went on AliExpress and I got a really good deal for just around $20. So I actually pulled the trigger on that just before we went to air tonight. So that'll be coming soon. The main problem I'm going to have is where the hell do I put it? Like I got a good little stand from someone who was giving up some parts, and from, he had a bunch of 350th and he stopped building it. So I've got to build cradle. But the question is I'm not going to be constantly working on this. So, and when it's done, where the hell do I put it? I got to make some room for it.
Honestly, you have to stop saying that phrase. You need to remove that phrase from your lexicon because it's let's go with Field of Dreams. If you build it, you will find a place for it. Simple as that.
I hope so. I'm gonna have to figure out where. But yeah. So anyway, that's in the queue as well. There's a few other things. Now, I've also still got that Fletcher too, and I've seen there's some nice 3D printed gun and targeting things and stuff like that, which also comes in photo etch, and you know me in photo etch. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's what's gonna. I've had a look at it, looked at the box. It's actually not a huge part count, this particular one. There are 350th Yamato ships by Verifier and other manufacturers that have a lot more detail. This is a very old mold. In fact, it's such an old mold. The hold has the compartment for the two C-size batteries.
Nice.
So
yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a very old molding. But no, the detail looks good, and I think it'll build up well. One of them I also wanted to do. I did want to get a 72nd scale one of either Yamato or Mishishi, because I've got the Missouri, and it'd be nice to do a little comparison there. And that's a more reasonable size. So I'm going to keep my eyes open.
Sorry. You said 1/72nd scale Yamato is a reasonable size.
Sorry, 1/700th. My apologies.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe the turret for it is a reasonable size.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Even then it was awfully big. Yeah. Can you imagine?
Mm.
Well, what is it? There's that one in that museum in Japan, and it's like 1/20th or something.
Terry and Duncan took pictures on their last trip, and it was huge. It's like it's got its own room, and it's a massive room.
It's a massive room for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'll need a whole room, but I'll certainly need to find a shelf somewhere for it. But we'll see what happens. Okay. What about you, Jeff?
Well, I can very quickly say that the Horizon Models people, the good folks at Horizon Models, who supplied you with a review copy of the Atlas Agena 1/72nd scale kit, when they it's in the Atlas they brought out years ago with the Mercury capsule and various other iterations of it. This is the same Atlas rocket, just with an Agena payload, which is really just two parts that you glue together and stick a whole bunch of decals on it. Anyway, you didn't have the desire to build it right away, and so you passed it on to me at the last club meeting, and I built it, and I loved it.
Because much like Frank, I noticed you're building things at a very, very fast clip.
I am doing better. I am definitely doing better. I'm overcoming my fear of the paint booth.
Good.
which was what was holding me back most of the time. But no, it's a really nice kit. It goes together very quickly. The instructions are pretty good. I screwed up on a few things by not reading far enough ahead and jumping. Anyway, the typical problem of a modeler. But at the end of the day, it looks pretty good. I posted a bunch of build pictures and a bit of a commentary and review stuff on the Facebook page for the show. But because I wasn't quite sure how to get my thoughts to Horizon or what they wanted us to do with it. But basically, great kit. Buy one, buy five. Highly recommended.
They're fabulous. And I know David Goldfinch from On the Bench, he finished his as well. And he was giving you high praise.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really kind. So was Mike Makowski, who was very helpful.
Yep.
In on another project I'm working on. He's people who know Mike. I mean, he's a god in the real space category.
Hmm.
But I've been working on the 747, the old Revell kit of the 747 shuttle carrier aircraft in 1/144 scale. And I ordered the decals for the black and white tile decal sets from Lake County Spaceport. Um, they came very quickly. I gotta give them credit. That's really fast and really good service, and the decals look great, and the instructions are really good. So highly recommend that one. I hope to do some more pictures of that as I go, but I'm also writing an article, hopefully for somebody, that on that whole build process, just because there's so many little challenges in it. I also ordered the decals for the Boeing 747 in the original American Airlines metallic and
Hmm.
polished metal scheme from Draw Decal or Draw Decal in Florida, and they took a little longer to take. I was starting to despair because I wasn't getting the right shipping notices or anything through email. And then they showed up today, just out of the blue. So they're here and they look great. The instructions are very good. I'm looking forward to working with them too. I'm now just waiting for the last of the three decal sets, above and below decals, or above and below graphics, I think it is. Andrew Finnegan out in BC, who we've talked about on a number of occasions. Probably
Hmm.
should have him on sometime. Anyway, he was great, helping me through the process of coming up with a sheet of decals for the Hawaii Mars water bomber in 1/144 scale. And they are, as Andrew says, they're in the mail along with a surprise freebie. So I'm curious to see what
Oh,
that
that's
is.
awesome. And you know what? I should give a shout out to Andrew because about half the decals on the CF-15 are above and below decal sets. A
Yeah.
lot of our CAF sets, he sent me quite a bit. And he's the one that also sent, and I might actually put one of these on. Remember we had the whole thing about the Chinese spy balloons?
Yes,
He
yes.
actually did kill markings for the F.
I know. I remember
So
seeing
for
those.
the
That would be
F-22s,
fun.
I might have to put one on. I might just put one on for the CF-15 because why would we wait for the Americans to shoot it down when we can do it ourselves with our
Exactly.
F-15s? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me. That's what I've been working on.
Awesome. Terry, how about you, my friend?
Wow, that's a lot. I forgot where I was going.
Yeah, I know. I know. He's getting as bad as Frank, I tell you. You know.
You know what
So
it is? And I'm sure everybody else out there who listens, who builds models is the same thing. And I'm sure you guys are the same, that if I'm in a bug mode and I want to model,
Yeah.
I don't want to be stopped by waiting for paint to dry.
Yep.
So
yeah,
or an assembly to dry, or to harden or whatever. So I like to have more than one thing going so I can just flip from one to another.
Yeah. I'm gonna get back into that, I think, at some point when I have a bit more time. How about you, Terry? Well, Terry's got a couple of things he's doing.
I've always got too damn many things going on.
Yeah.
I want to get the Regalt done. I've been doing decals on that and so a little bit of detail painting. I'm probably just gonna get it done and get it on the shelf. Um, the XP47H is moving along pretty well.
That looks
Getting
great.
the
Yeah.
gear on that, and then I'll be able to do some work on a little bit of weathering and such. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
That prop on there is just massive.
You taking
It's
anything
just-
to Wonderfest this year, or are you gonna be there
I
as a
don't think
judge
I'll
and
have
then
anything finished to the point where I want to display it, so probably not.
yeah.
Neil's gonna have a bunch of stuff done.
Well, that's good. We'll have to
Yeah.
make sure we get pictures of that.
So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I was out in New Jersey last week, and Tony Woodson gave me a couple of old IMI kits, a Legios and a they're the old 1/100th scale
Yep.
has Mac Rossi and what's the other one? Legos, the second series. Yeah, anyway, but over just the building kind of stuff, I've picked up a 2-pack of Yamato dreadnoughts last year at Wonderfest, and there's some really cool paint schemes in there. So I've been slowly building those up, and they're just a fun to paint. Although one of them is going to be a lot of masking, but if I can pull it off, it'll look great.
Now what scale are those dreadnoughts?
Those are 1,000.
Yeah,
those are all those
I want to.
constant
Yeah,
scale ones. Yeah,
I want to kind of get into those. And apparently, Peter from Neo Tokyo says they are being re-released. Some of those.
yeah, and the Asuka is being released in a couple of different schemes and maybe modifications. And I have plans. I want to do some other stuff with that. That's that half carrier.
Yeah.
Based on the dreadnought.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
I have some things I want to do to that, and maybe make some conversion kits for it.
They're a nice size. That's why I like them. They're not too huge.
The dreadnoughts just look cool.
They do. They do. Totally. So I'll have to keep my eyes open with that. Okay. Other things. You know what? Let's talk a bit about Sean's custom model tools first. We'll see what Sean's coming up with. He's always busy, and we'll see what he has. Here we go. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model Podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, what we're reading. Well, I have been so low on time because my wife has been sick with her bad leg. She's slowly getting better, but I am chief bottle washer, chef, waiter, etc. So I haven't had a lot of time to build, and I'm getting my steps in. Haven't had a heart attack, so that's a good sign. So I'm basically haven't had a lot of reading. I'm reading exactly the same stuff that I was reading last time, namely Clear Thinking by Shane Parrish and Slow Productivity. Both very, very good reads. I'm really enjoying them. So yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing. Jeff, you're kind of in the same boat, aren't you?
I'm in the same boat. I can't even remember what I'm reading, but it's the same things I was reading last time.
I'll add them.
We'll just add them. But I'm almost finished those books. But what I have been doing instead have been cruising the internet for homemade rabbit repellent formulas so that I can try to get the damn rabbits out of my garden. That's my job right now. Getting the pool opened, and
some of our listeners would say a 22 might solve that.
The thing is, I don't want to kill them. I want to. It's like a battle of wits.
It is,
and I'm battling it with a creature that has a brain the size of a walnut.
I know, but yet when we first went on air, we could still look out in your back garden, and we saw about 3 or 4 of them hopping around and giving you the finger.
That's what they do. They wander around.
Canadian bunnies.
They wait until they see me watching them, and then they wander up and they just chew on a hosta and give me the frickin' basically present their hindquarters to my view. So very frustrating.
Well, you'll have to work on that. We have to let us know what the result is. This sounds like goldfinch and the possum. that kept coming over the fence. He had barbed wire and he was talking about electrical wire.
Oh, I'm trying physical barriers. I don't like because it's a garden, I can't put up fencing because that's the whole point of it is to look nice, not look like it's got chicken wire all over it. So I'm trying all kinds of other different techniques and so far some are working and
I
others
think
are
a diorama, like of a prisoner of war camp. You can do the barbed wire that way with the searchlights, spotlights, and you can have Schultz, there in
there
the
you go.
middle,
There you go.
exactly against Schultz against the giant bunnies.
There's too many opportunities there. I think that is too enticing.
I don't know. I think you should
Anyway,
try
that's
it.
my life right now. Terry, what do you look? This book looks interesting. So far every book you read I find interesting. So
I finally getting around to reading. I have got way too many books. I'm trying to get rid of some, and I think, oh, hey, look, I haven't read this one yet. Hey, look, I haven't read this one yet. This is Dave Levitan's Not a Scientist: How Politicians Mistake, Represent, and Utterly Mangle Science by Dave Levitan. And it was published in 2020, if I remember right, or 2019, one of the two. But nothing's changed, right? These guys
No.
are
oh yeah, things have changed.
cherry
They've gotten a lot
picking
worse.
yeah, crassly worse, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of a skeptic's book that gives you the tools you need to recognize which of the methods they're using to the butter up and bullshit or just straight up lie. There's a whole series of them, a chapter for each one.
Hmm.
And it's
Well,
nice.
that means I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
have to
read
add this
that.
one. Yeah, and I'm going to have to add it to my queue as well.
Yeah, it's been out long enough. You can probably get it free on Kindle.
Yeah, or at the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
what
usually
else?
try to get it through Libby, our library app.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what else are you reading?
Yep, still reading volume 18 of Slime.
You gotta love it. Eight or
yeah.
18, my friend.
Sorry, 18. Let me
18. Okay.
revise that.
I thought you
Yeah.
were up to double digits.
Yeah, season 3 started airing a few weeks ago, and a whole bunch of other manga or anime have new seasons, which
That's
just
good.
started up.
Yep.
Some really good stuff out there.
A lot of new shows starting. My wife's happy. They've also announced a new Lord of the Rings project with Mr. Jackson, Philip, and Peter involved. So that'll be coming eventually as well. Three more movies. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. Yep.
Well, I guess we'll see how much of the Silmarillion he can get on
Well,
film.
I'm not sure if he's doing that or not.
That's where a lot of it is. That's what they're pulling from because that's what there is.
So the entire first movie is the first chapter. Though father of this, father of that.
Oh, God help us.
There's
like
also
the
there's also an animated one coming out, which occurs about 100 years before The Hobbit. That's coming out, I believe, this winter. So we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I don't know what that ecosystem looks like. If people have been writing in there for ages now, they probably have.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there, but that'll be interesting.
Is that the one where Sauron was just a misunderstood young man until he was treated badly by some bully somewhere, and then
shut up, Dad.
Exactly.
Wait. Or was that Harry Potter? Was that the bad guy in Harry Potter? Wait a minute. There's some
wait.
similarities.
Was that Darth Vader? Wait. I
Yeah,
don't know.
could have been.
Darth Vader. Shut up, Dad. You're not my real dad. Oh, sorry, that's Luke.
That's Luke. There you go. All right.
Luke,
well,
I am your real dad.
That's about it this time. So we're also sponsored by our good friends at Return to Kitform. Check out their site at kitform.com for, you saw those Macross Valkyries coming out.
I know. I need to place a big order there, and I keep forgetting to do it.
You need to place an order there, so to make sure you do. So check that out. Be like Terry and place a big order.
Don't be like Terry and actually place a big order.
Well, yeah,
that's probably better.
Yeah. Exactly. Leave us a positive review as always. For more modeling podcast goodness, check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. We're also on Facebook, the YouTubes, and of course our very own website, scalemodelpodcast.com. We have some merch as well. I got to play around with the merch. There might be some changes coming soon when I get 5 minutes and a couple of brain cells to actually figure that out. And that's about it. So for episode 140, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Jeff Highland.
And I'm Terry Measley, reminding everyone to complete your online Wonderfest contest registrations.
Exactly. Thank you, and be well.